Workflows can be used for many things in Matrix 42 software asset and service management. I will show you some examples. So I go to the desktop and click on the Unified User Experience button. And now we are right in the service self-service portal, and I want to order a new service. So I click on Catalog, and I search for a service called Dolphin. When I add this service to the cart and click on this button down here and proceed to checkout, placing the order, the system automatically initiates two workflows. One is the approval workflow, where somebody needs to agree with this service order, and then we will have a provisioning workflow which will automatically assign and prepare the service for me, like adding me to an AD group or sending out emails, creating tasks, which is usually a workflow. So that's one option. Another interesting alternative to integrate workflows is the compliance rules. So when I go to administration and click on services and processes and go to compliance rules, we see many compliance rules, that is jobs that are automatically running in the background waiting for a specific data change or an event. And let's have a look at one that is called monitor computer status. So I type in monitor here, and it filters for this compliance rules. And when I scroll down, I can immediately see the condition that it's waiting for. So it's waiting for an object that changes to state equals unknown. So if the status is unknown, this compliance rule will automatically kick in. Let's have a closer look by clicking on Edit. Here we can see which configuration item it's checking for, computers. And then we have the condition here, status equals unknown. And then it will immediately process something, so it will start a workflow in this example here. We can also add other actions, like for example creating a simple task or changing data directly, but this is a workflow that will be automatically initiated. So another example how we can use workflows. And one more example is in the service desk area. When I switch to service desk and go to changes, each change in our system is a workflow. So when I click on add change and I select the so-called change template, this change template is actually a workflow, which can also be changed with the Graphical Workflow Studio. So for example, I pick the non-standard change. I add a user that initiated the change, that's me. Sorry, here we go, Vincent. Oops, Vincent Valentine, like this. And then we need to add a summary. For example, change project viewer package. And then we click on done. And to initiate the workflow, we go to agree change. So if I'm the change manager, I can agree to this change and it will automatically start the workflow. So again, we can change the workflow to something else here, but we'll stay with the standard. And then it starts the workflow. And the first step it does is create an analyze task, which can be found here when we go to collaboration, tasks. You got to click twice because when you click once, it opens the currently open incidents assigned to me. When I click twice, it displays all tasks. And right here we have the analyze change task for our project viewer package. I will now show you how you can create a new workflow. So we go to the console again and switch to administration. And right here we have services and processes, workflows, and I can start the Workflow Studio by clicking on this button. We usually use templates when creating new workflows. The advantage is that those templates already have the so-called integration context configured, so they know exactly which parameters they need, if it's a service catalog order or if it's initiated from a connector or from a compliance rule. So as an example, I will take the one-step approval template here and create a custom individual approval workflow for our Imagoverum demo company. So this is a very simple workflow with just one step, which is a service approval for the cost center approver. I will now add a second approver in this process. So I go to this activities repository and I search for approval. So we have change and service approval. I drag and drop my service approval over here, and I can add a decision maker here or a decision maker role. So for now, we'll take Dennis Dorrell. He's the decision maker. And this red button indicates that we also need to select something else. So I go to the service booking ID, which is still missing, and select this one. So we are ready to go. And so I can check. I first of all save the process, check in, which writes the change to the database, and I can validate the workflow to see if there are any errors. And when I click on release, it creates a new version. So it will now be it will increase the version number. So we always have a specified version number. And then when I publish this workflow, it will be available in our system. So I can now select it as an approval workflow in a service. We also have various other activities over here. So that's just the basic things like, for example, doing a flow decision here. So checking if a value is A or B and then going left or right. We also have basic things for creating bookmarks. We can have sub-workflows. We also have an integration with our software asset management Imperum. So we can work with computers. We can assign software to computers. We have some general activities like creating tasks or sending emails or interacting with interfaces using HTTP and JSON. Integration with SCCM, for example, service catalog orders, and we can also click here to get even more functions, for example in Service Desk, or we can also steer a whole VMware vSphere environment, like creating VMs, cloning VMs, powering up VMs. So several customers automate their vCenter data management with these workflows. Let's see how we can track the workflows. So again, I will open my console and I go to Administration, Services, Processes, Workflows, and now we go to Workflow Instances. And that's an overview of the workflows that are currently running or have already completed or are waiting for something like here. So that's this two samples we started. That's the service order where it's waiting for the approval, and this is the change we initiated. And when I click on a workflow, I can do a visual tracking from this option here, which launches the Workflow Studio in a specific workflow tracking mode. So when clicking on tracking, I see exactly where this workflow is currently at, and I can see that it's waiting for the approval. I can also check the individual events and variables down here.